Still ahead, it is Wine Wednesday. Head to Kaboo, the classy way, the best wines to drink at the music festival. Plus playground etiquette, 5 issues kids face and how to solve them.
Live from San Diego, this is the Fox 5 Morning News at 9.
We're having very in-depth conversation with 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds
and a nearly 5-year-old.
And a nearly, yeah, I mean, you just turned 4, didn't you, sweetheart? Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
That's an Olaf bubble. Hey, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I have to look at the card because it is Wednesday, September 14th.
See?
Sometimes I don't know.
Halfway to the
what's
weekend.
your name?
You know. Oh, I'm Raul Martinez.
Yep, and I'm Maria Arcegadon.
I'm Chrissy Russo. How you feeling? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Coming up here on the big show at 9 o'clock, satisfy your palate for Kaboo, because we're talking about fashion at Kaboo, but also, you know, I've heard there will be adult beverages at Kaboo, so I don't know about that. Well, the wine guy is here to tell us all about the food and spirit experience happening at the big festival.
That's right.
Okay, and we're meeting 3 puppies that are looking for a new home in today's Adoptable Dogs.
Aww.
Yep. But first, on today's Mommy Daddy Handbook, we are talking about playground etiquette. That's why we've got all these little munchkins out here this morning hanging with us. And of course, we've got Sunny Golf with us.
Hi.
How are you? Thank you so
wonderful.
much for having us.
Absolutely.
Hey, you guys, do you think you guys can, like, fit on? Do you think I could probably fit on the slide, actually?
Check it out. Come on over here.
Let's talk a little bit about playground etiquette. I mean, the kids are back to school, and even the kids who aren't, I mean, it's something to think about every single day. Kids kind of want to play on everything. Sometimes they don't know how to share.
That's true. This all happens. Who would have thought that we had all these rules when it came to the playground, right? And a lot of these are unwritten rules, and you kind of have to modify them for your own family. But one thing to think about is what happens. Think about these scenarios that you may experience on a playground. What happens if you show up and there is another child that is playing on some playground equipment that maybe isn't quite age appropriate, right? There's a little bit of a danger factor there. And as a parent, you may want to reach out and say something either to the child or to the parent just to make sure that the child is safe. And that is okay to do.
Right.
That is okay to do. And a lot of this is about just your temperament and how you're dealing with the other parent. And if you approach it as a safety issue, usually parents will be more receptive to that. And, you know, they won't think that, you know, you're threatening them or that, you know,
it's
they won't
all
take
in the
offense
approach.
to the,
It really is all.
It really is
all
on
in the approach. Of course, 5 main issues that we're dealing with, though, when we're talking about playground etiquette.
Yes. So that's the first one. And then the second one would be what happens if your child just loves a toy. You know, all the kids right now are playing on the slide, right? And they don't want to get off the slide and a line forms behind it. What do you do in that kind of situation? You want to teach children about sharing. And that's one of those things that, you know, there is going to be a time limit, right? As a parent, you kind of have to monitor what your child is doing and, you know, make sure that they're not hogging some, the slide or something like that.
Too. You get to learn something about that.
You know, and in a situation like that, I always like to, you know, acknowledge the fact that, you know, to my child and then also to other parents that, hey, honey, you've been on the slide for a couple minutes now, and then, you know, we'll wrap it up in a minute. You know, there's other kids that want to play. And
everybody should get a turn.
Everyone should get a turn. And then also you're kind of acknowledging to the parents that, hey, I see you, and, you know, I want to be respectful of your time.
All right.
In that regard. And the other thing is, and over here we have some goldfish, because let's face it, goldfish, you know, in the playground, yes, absolutely. We see these all the time. So what happens if you go to give your child a snack and then all of a sudden all the other kids want snacks?
Right.
What do you do, right? Sometimes we don't bring enough for everybody.
I always make sure. I always did.
Yes.
I always made sure that I did because
I
knew that either he was not going to share or he was going to give it to everybody.
Yeah. So we just have to mind our manners in this. Basically, you know, don't have snacks, you know, if your kid's going down the slide, maybe don't have them eating the snack as they're going down the slide. Maybe take it over to the other side so not all the other kids see what's happening. One important thing to keep in mind, though, is you never want to give a snack to a child without talking to the parent or guardian. That can be huge. We don't know about allergies.
Absolutely, and that's kind of the problem. You don't want to just hand something over. Always talk to the parents first, right?
Yes.
What the nuts? So we don't
no nuts. No nuts. See,
No
that
nuts.
could be a problem.
So that's just part of the big, I mean, you do have to be concerned about that.
Yes, absolutely.
We
She's doing the interview. I love
we got a full...
You know, the other point to keep in mind is if children, if no one's playing with a toy, is it okay if your child just goes up and starts playing with a toy? If they're in a sandbox, you know, is it okay if they just grab some toys and start playing with it?
So always make sure you give them that teachable moment, talk to them about sharing, and that's kind of the whole big deal.
Yeah, that is the thing. And there is an unwritten rule that your child can usually play with toys, but as a parent, you may want to just say, hey, is this anyone's toy? Is it okay if my child is playing with it?
Let's just be considerate of each other as we're watching these kids around and fight over the snacks.
Right, exactly. And probably the last thing and the biggest thing is, what do you do when there's some sort of confrontation with the kids on the playground, right? What if I had the situation once where it was my son's first time going to a playground.
A few seconds, so
so if they're throwing something on the playground or something like that, we just want to make sure
we don't want to parent other kids.
We don't want to parent other kids. You know, maybe if you don't feel comfortable talking to the parent, you can take your child away from the situation and play on another portion of the playground. Something simple like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, obviously you want to make sure that you're not parenting the kid. You just want to make sure that the parents are also
that we're all getting along.
All right.
Absolutely.
It's all about getting along, and that's the important part. If you'd like more information on playground etiquette, go to fox5sandiego.com and click on the Scene on tab. Sunny Golf, thank you so much. Chrissy Russo,